Stephen Peal is the Group Managing Director of YorPower, a trusted leader in the backup power solutions industry. Stephen oversees the integrated operations of the business with a culture and people-led management style. We joined Stephen to learn more about his background and how that's moulded his approach to business today. Please introduce yourself and tell us about your career history and highlights.
My name's Stephen Peal. I'm the Group Managing Director for YorPower. If I'm going to talk about my career history, I might need to start really young to understand where I sort of come from, because I'm not going to give you a full life story, don't worry. But from the age of 3 up until 19, this might surprise you, but I was always in dance, drama and singing. That was kind of my career path, so it's really unusual that I've ended up where I am today. And then all the way up till 19, and then for the craziest reason, which I won't go into now because it'll take me too long, I ended up joining the armed forces, which is really diverse. Moving from that to that, you can rest assured that I didn't tell anyone in the army that I had qualifications in ballet. That wouldn't have gone down too well. And I did 5 years in the armed forces, don't regret a moment of it, 2 tours of Bosnia and a good experience in life. Then I left the armed forces and I suppose I was a bit of a lost soul, not really knowing who I was or where I was going, and ended up in sales and marketing. Now, obviously being able to perform and, do those, have a lot of enthusiasm, and then have the mindset of it doesn't matter if it's raining, doesn't matter what the weather's doing, I can work as hard because I've been trained by the army, worked a treat. And I flew in a variety of different sales and marketing roles because it just worked really well for my background. So with that, I diversified all over the place. Once you can sell something, you can sell anything. So I've knocked on doors, I've sold cars, I've done textured paint on the outside of people's homes. And then as that kind of progressed forward, I moved into more operational roles. Started running my own electrical trace heating business. And then I'm a big believer that salespeople can make good operational leaders. Yeah, it doesn't always work the other way around. Operational leaders make good sales leaders, but that's probably a little bit controversial. So I continue to do, and I think it's about 14 years ago now, I joined a company called Power Plant Services at the time to head up their sales and marketing. Quite a small little business, and very quickly, as I was selling things, I was looking after things, and that grew towards YorPower is now. We acquired a company called the Progress Group 8 years ago. That's when we rebranded the service business to PPS Power. That a lot of ThisWeekinFM understand the PPS Power brand, because you all guys have really helped me drive that brand over the last 8 years. And then last February, we brought a lot of businesses together, which formed YorPower. So now you guys are helping me get that YorPower brand out there, which is a good global brand, but could do have been a little bit stronger in the FM market in the UK. So that leads me to where I am now. When we acquired Progress, I became a shareholder and, moved forward, and now the group managing director.
How has this career history moulded your approach to business management?
Okay, well, obviously there's been a lot of variety in my career history, and I think that helps anyone. Being able to understand different levels and different areas has really driven it forward. I'm a big believer in people first. That's what I've been really driving over the last few years, certainly in our organisation, through things like employee engagements and other initiatives through there. In fact, if you Google inspirational quotes from business leaders, I did it, you'll find that pretty much all of them are about people. Yeah, so it's not that I'm doing something new or different. Strong business owners understand that people are your greatest asset, and we've all heard that quote before, people are your greatest asset. The problem is, what do you do about that? I've even come up with a quote of myself which helps promote our business, actually. So a generator or a UPS, which we look after, will not necessarily function how it should without care, without a service package in place. Neither do people. Yeah, nice quote, yeah. Neither do people. There needs to be, you need to look after people. You need to know exactly what you're doing through there. We've just finished our employee engagement, actually, where we've moved forward lots of greats in lots of areas and other areas that need our focus as well. And this is not about being soft, putting people first. And I think some people think that's the way it is. Are you just going to bend over to everything that the employees need? I've got this quotation for happiness, because what we're talking about here is happiness. If you've got happy employees, you will have happy customers. And if you have happy customers, you have happy shareholders, and all the way through. It's a simple way of doing that. But what is happiness? Because it's very difficult to define. And I was listening to a podcast about 6 months ago, and this equation for happiness came up, which I thought was brilliant, and I'm using it all along. Okay, and happiness is when life is equal to or greater than expectation. So if everything's as you expect, you're quite happy. If everything's a little bit better than you expect, you're a lot happier. So you can take that into business. Okay, how do you manage expectation of the employees? Do they have clear accountabilities? Do they know what they're meant to do? Are the KPIs realistic so that they can at least be a success of hitting, if not a success of surpassing, to create that happiness as well? Also, you've got to manage your own expectations, because, you know, human beings are chaos. Nature is chaos. It is not one size fits all, and if you master it one day, it'll go different the next. Humans evolve, they're different. We have a different generation now, and we'll have a different generation next. You have to continue to move with the times, and that comes through consultation, such as the employee engagements. And I do worry sometimes that some businesses pay lip service to employee engagements and put it in place and tick a box and move on. There's no point in doing an engagement unless you're going to do something about what's being said. You've got to hear it, you've got to do that. And I went round and presented the findings of our employee engagement in small groups across all of our employees face to face, so that they could really open up about what's being said, what's happening, and then put a whole list together of what needs to be done, held a senior leadership team meeting, gave accountabilities for that, and then emailed the whole company and said, this is what's happening, this is who's doing it, this is where we'll go, and then in 3 months' time I'll give them more follow-up on that and see how we progress and where we go. That to me is what creates success. And what I've not talked about there is product or anything, because I'm not technical. Yeah, I've got employees that are very technical, can do that. And of course you need the technical aptitude to be able to carry out the services that you provide. But if you work on people and have the right people around and grow those people, then everything else in product, service, and everything else just looks after itself.
We interviewed you during lockdown about your commitment as a mental health first aider. Do you think much has changed in terms of attitudes to mental health at work since then?
I think, yes, attitudes towards mental health are improving. I think it's too slow, but I think they're improving. The big word here is to normalise. Mental health and physical health are exactly the same. They are health, and that's what it's all about. I even believe that sometimes a lot of people that be listening to this will do risk and method statements for jobs that are carried out. What's the risk and the method statement? All a risk and method statement does is look at physical health. Yeah, does it consider the environment in which this job is being carried out and whether there's any implications with mental health? And I think we should do that an awful lot more. Most of the time on most risk and method statements, there won't be an effect on that and those kind of things, but we should do a lot more about normalising it. And normalising things is just about communication, talking, and constantly doing that. Now, we have 6 times the mental health first aiders that we had when we talked last during COVID. You know, I'm making that sound really big. We only had me, so we've got 6 now. Yeah, you know, even so, we're driving forward and we've got a lot more that we're going to go through. Because it's about having that accessible. And I talked a lot before, understanding and going through the mental health first aid course just makes you look at things a little bit differently. And the second I got off that course, I thought about performance management situations that I probably could have dealt with a little bit differently and probably got a better result for both us, them, and the business all the way through. So it's all about understanding, and sometimes when you have a strong understanding and you do this communication and people talk to you, you nip it in the bud. It doesn't become a problem, doesn't become an issue. So yes, it has to be talked about a lot more and it has to be normalised a lot more, and we are going in the right direction, but let's do it a lot quicker, and it's great to talk about it to help move that quicker.
How do you manage the culture of your business?
I believe it's really important to manage your culture, and that can be done through your vision, values, mission statement, whatever you want to call it. But what's really important is that it's genuine and it's real and it's lived. So there is probably silent, if you don't have these vision and values already written, they're probably silently already in your business. The things you do well, the things you're good of, and the things you're proud of. That's where your vision and values come from. We have respect and integrity, constant improvements, and profit and prosperity. I tell you, when I come up with profit and prosperity, they were like, you can't tell people you make money. I said, of course you can. That's what we do. That's what we're about. But profit and prosperity isn't just about making money. It's about being efficient and effective in the marketplace. But all of those values now we try and talk about a lot to get them in there. And we have a vision statement to be the most trusted provider of the services in which we provide. Trust is a huge thing. We work in the critical industry. We work in that. If we can be trusted, then we're absolutely winning. So then I went around sort of every department and said, what does trust mean for this department? What would you have to be doing to be trusted? How does this look? How does it go? What's really important, we get things wrong. We're human. The whole company is full of human people. Until they're all artificial intelligence, we'll get things wrong. Yeah. So what's really important is when you get things wrong is that you're open and honest about that, and you find the solution and drive it forward. I actually think when things go wrong, that's where you really can knit your relationships with your customers stronger than they ever were, because they think, great, this is what happens when it goes wrong, rather than not knowing. So yeah, having all that in place, vision, values, mission statement and stuff is something I'm very passionate about, and something I'll happily talk to anyone about if they want to get in touch with me.